For more updates, click on subscribe and click on bell button for latest notifications. Hi friends, welcome to techarkit YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see that DevOps interview questions and answer. So if you are going for the latest interviews on your DevOps, so these questions would may help you in attempting the interview. So let's jump into the topic and see what are those questions. So my name is Ravi. I'm here because I love to share my knowledge. So you can reach me at aravikumar48 at gmail.com. So if you have any questions, you can just shoot me an email so that I can reach you back a step away. So here, so if you are going to attend the DevOps interview, so best of luck for your interview. So this is the questions from few questions from L1 level or L2 level. So the first question is going to be a what is DevOps? So DevOps is a set of practices that combine software development and IT operations. It aims to shorten the system's development life cycle and provides continuous delivery with high software quality. So basically, if you say what is DevOps, so if you divide dev and ops, so which is the development and operation. So if you want to, if any developer wanted to develop any code or applications, anything, they need an infrastructure from the IT. So there are two teams like IT who will do an operation support, like building up the servers and providing the servers to the development team in case of any issues on the server level side. So they helping hand to the development team. So but in this combination with the DevOps, so both the guys have a hand to hand skill set. So that's called DevOps. So which will combination of the software development and the IT operations. So they will do a development cycle would be a continuous delivery. So there is no shortage in a infrastructure and the development. So they work hand in hand for the responding for the faster deliveries. That's the goal of the DevOps. So what is CICD? So CICD bridges the gaps between development and operation activities and teams by enforcing automation in building, testing, and development of applications. So like CI/CD in the sense continuous integration and continuous delivery is what CI/CD says. But most of the times, so the simple thing here is that CI/CD will provide most of the automation tools in building, testing, and deployment. So whenever you are coding, you are writing the code, but you need to spend a lot of time in building that code and making that builds and testing. After the build, you have to test it, and after that you have to deploy it in a production system. So this will be automated tasks. So by doing the automation, so building, testing, and deployment will be automated. So that's why the tools integrated with the different tools would be helping in a CI/CD things. So that's what the what is DevOps and what is CI/CD is the one. So the next question here comes is that what is the difference between the DevOps and CI/CD? So if you take what is this exactly means it, so focus on culture. So the DevOps is not a anything technology or something like that, it's a cultural difference. So like before that, development is team different and operational team is different, and they are not combinationally together. But in this DevOps technology, so they work hand in hand, and development team and operation teams will be cross trained so that they know each other different tools, so that they perform better operations and better developments for the future. So that's the focused on culture. And CI/CD, if you take it, focused on software defined lifecycle. So basically they are defined, so they are decreasing that development cycle and providing the faster response or the faster developments in a using the CI/CD. So that's the main goal of it here. So highlighting the roles. So basically in development, so and DevOps things, so roles will be highlighted. So that's the major thing here. And CI/CD, highlighting the tools. So here in CI/CD we use a lot of tools to integrate this development, deployment and testing processes. So that's what we use, a lot of tools on CI/CD, like so sourcing tools and deployment tools, so many things over here. So that's the highlighting the tools on CI/CD side. So DevOps side, basically it provides the responsiveness. So it does not mean that the development and operations are lazy stuff, or they are not doing well, something like that. So they do the development and operation hand in hand. So that's why the responsiveness would be high on the DevOps side. So that's a culture. So they provide the responsiveness is the very high. That's the main agenda of that DevOps. And CI/CD, so majorly focused on automation stuff. So if you are doing something, so they want to automate it, so you no need to do it manually. So that's the major goal of that CI/CD. So this is the major things between the DevOps and the CI/CD. So majorly DevOps is a culture and CI/CD is a defined software lifecycle. So that's the one. So the next questions coming to this is that what are the Git commands you use? So anything you can provide answer as part of the Git, but here I have listed few commands, you can use them. So Git initiating, so whenever you want to initiate the fresh repository, you can do that. Git adding this repositories, and Git committing the code and verifying the status with the Git status, and Git config, and Git branching, and checkout and merge. So these are the major commands most of the times Git uses. So anything you can provide, so but here are the few commands, like for example you can use them. So difference in Git fetch and Git pull. So what is the major difference between the fetch and pull? So Git fetch is the command that tells your local Git to retrieve the latest metadata information from original to check is there any changes available. So which only fetch the metadata information, but it does not pull anything from the remote repository. So it just only verify that whether do I have any changes on the remote repository. That's the main Git fetch will do. So Git pull brings the changes, so it does not basically verify the metadata, not like that. So it just bring the changes from the remote repository, so it just put the changes over here. So that's the things between the fetch and pull. So fetch only look for the metadata information and checks is there any changes on the remote repository, but Git pull will bring the changes to the local repository. So that's the major difference between the fetch and pull. Coming to the next questions. So one is the question is that what is default port of Jenkins? So the basically Jenkins uses HTTP protocol. So here the default port number of that Jenkins is 8080. So how to change Jenkins port number is the next question. So the method one, you can use Java jar file. So if you have any .war files which is deployed on Tomcat or var files, then you can use that Java command and change this HTTP port string to whatever you want. So here example I changed it to 8081. So if it in case of HTTPS port, you can use this HTTPS port string so that you can change it to 8081. So in case of Linux, you would like to change it over here, you can just edit this /etc default Jenkins file, and wherever there is a parameter HTTP port, so you can just change it and restart this Jenkins service so that the port changes will be replicated, so reflected. So that's the things you can use on the Jenkins port number change. Coming to the next questions, how to connect master and slave Jenkins. So basically, if you have a master and you have a slave Jenkins, how you can connect them as a master and slave. So log into the Jenkins and go to the Jenkins, manage Jenkins hyperlink, or they click on that. So then you can go to manage nodes. Here you just click on new node and enter the details of the node. So node name, all of these details, enter it and save that new node details and enable the security method. So whatever the method you would like to use over here, the TCP security method, then save it. Then check the check mark the enable slave on the next session or the next pop-up over there and save it. Then launch the agent in Java so that the slave will be launched, so that master and slave Jenkins will be connected. So that's simple. So you just follow these steps and you can just connect it master and slave Jenkins. So the next question goes to how to backup of your Jenkins. So this is very important in case of something goes wrong on your Jenkins. So how you can restore your config. So that makes more sense. You have to take the backup and store that backup into the different systems. In case of disaster recovery, you cannot use the same system to recovery back. Sometimes the system has crashed, then you have to use restore from the different server. So go to manage Jenkins and install the backup plugin. So you have to use that plugin, then only you can able to use the backup manager, then backup the config files. So again, whenever you install the plugin, you again go back to the manage Jenkins and go to backup manager. So there is called setup is a link, so you just click on that setup. Then it will ask you for the root directory and the backup directory, so where you want exactly the backup, then which format you want to take that backup file, then just click save, so the backup will goes on. So that's the simple things. You have to use the backup plugin, so that's what you have to use it. Next one, so difference between hard link and soft link. So I have a very good video on my playlist, so I have given the URL over here. You can check up the description. So in this description also I will add this URL over there, so you can just click on that and see this, what is the difference between hard link and the soft link and how they work and what is the exactly difference between them, so you can simply understand. So that's one, you can just go to that video and see that. Okay, so next question, how to find particular word from a file. So this is a basically Linux question. So using the grep command in a Linux, you can just find out the particular word from a file. So the example here, you can just cat it, either you can also use the directly grep the file and word for it, so that you can also do that. So this example is that cat the file and grep for the word which you are looking for, so that will be fetched from the particular file. So the next question is, what is stop command? So stop command is calls the init demand to stop a job that is running on the system. So it is similar to the initctl stop command. So that's what it is. It is used to stop the running jobs. Simple. What is Terraform provisioner? So if you know Terraform, so these questions comes to you. Then provisioners are used for executing scripts or shells commands on a local or remote machine as part of resource creation / deletion. So whenever you want to create the resource, so whenever you want to create the resource or delete the resource, so which is basically use the provisioner to execute something on a local machine or the remote machine. Just like if you go to the AWS, there is a some startup scripts you can just add into the advanced window. So whenever the EC2 machine has been launched, then you can simply install some packages and launch some web service, something like that. So you can instruct that commands will do that. So the similar way, the shells commands on a local machine or the remote machine as part of the resource creation or deletion will be executed using the provisioners on Terraform. The next question, so what is Terraform module? So in Terraform there are modules. So what is it's called a module? A module is a container for multiple resources that are used together. Every Terraform configuration has at least one module known as its root module, which consists of the resources defined in the .rt files in the main working directory. So that is this is simple what is the module definition is. So next question is it possible to lock Terraform module? So yes, if your backend supports it. So not all backend supports locking, so verify before the Terraform whether supporting the locking or not. So that's the answer over here. So what is AWS VPC? So VPC transfer Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. So VPC, Voice Virtual Private Cloud, is a commercial cloud computing service that provides users a virtual private cloud by provisioning the logical isolated section of AWS. Or in simple terms, if you take what is the VPC, it's a virtual network definer. So what it will do basically, whenever you want to launch any EC2 instance, the VPC is part of it. So like selecting the zoning zones and subnets and security groups, all of this which comes under the VPC part of it. So that's the security isolated network will be in virtualized environment will be provided by the VPC. So that's what VPC simple terms, the network configuration on the AWS. What is difference in S3 and other AWS storage? So basically AWS provides a multiple types of storages like S3 buckets and EFS file system like elastic file systems, and FSX like Windows shift shares, and FSX for lost trace, and EBS block storage. But in terms of these storages, what is the difference? Basically S3 provides. So S3 is a object store. Anything you can store in a S3 is called as a object. So that's the major difference. But if you take EFS or EBS, they have the file systems, especially like NTFS or ext3, ext4 are different file systems. But if you take FSX, which provides on shift shares, CIFS shares, so or EFS like just like NFS shares, but S3 does not have any specific file system. So it's all the files, whatever the data you store over there, which is considered as a object. So that's the major difference between the S3 and other storages. What is Ansible playbook? So in simple terms, Ansible playbook means it's a file where Ansible code is written. So it's a simple file. You just need to write the Ansible code over there. So what is Ansible code? Which consists of ML language. A playbook is a composed or more plays in order. So there are plays in a playbook, so they will play in order. So that's what the playbook contains. That is called as a playbook. So what is the syntax you need to use on the playbook? Syntax of Ansible playbook. So what is the syntax you need to use? There's not specifically any syntax over there, but you need to use a format of the ML. So plays are expressed in a ML format with a minimum of syntax. So this is not very compulsory, like you have to start with a 3 hyphen something like that, but as a professional you have to start with a 3 hyphens and end with the name 3 dots. So in between you have to write the code whatever it is, so which may be starting with the hyphens. So that's the Ansible playbook syntax. So next question is going to be how you run Ansible playbook. Ansible playbook, so simple command ansible hyphen playbook is a command and provide the playbook name. So that will be executing the playbook. So if you want to execute any optional things like hyphen syntax, so if you have any variable options over there, you can just provide it, or if you want to execute forcefully something like that, you can have to use -f, then execute the Ansible playbook. But in simple terms, how you execute Ansible playbook is the command and provide the playbook path or the playbook name, so that will execute the playbook on Ansible. Have you worked with any alerting monitoring tools? So basically monitoring tools will alert. So did you work on any monitoring tools? So if you work already, so you can just provide this monitoring tool list, or you can just have a look. A popular, most of the industries use this monitoring tools called Nagios, Isigna, Jobix and SolarWinds. There are more, so but these are the most popular tools most of the organizations use. So that's what the interview DevOps interview questions and answers. So if you have any related questions on this DevOps, so you can just shoot me an email or join me on Twitter. So you can just tweet me at one tweet away, so I will reply you back most of the times. Or you can also comment on this video, like the video. For more upcoming videos, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.